Welcome back, Paul Catalina and Jack McKenzie. And now I'm going to say things I was right about, and Jack will try to tear me down.
God, this is going to be fun.
One, I thought LSU would be better than they were a year ago.
Okay.
And Garrett kept telling me I was wrong. So far, I've been right about that.
It's the natural progression of a team.
Yeah.
Garrett is a pessimistic who really just doesn't want to be hurt.
Yeah.
So I think you are taking credit for something that is completely easily predictable, and you were just listening to one guy being pessimistic.
They're also on the same track. It's not like they're improved from last year. They lost the first game last year. They lost the first game this year.
I didn't realize
they're
that would
rolling.
help.
They're
Thank you,
rolling.
Garrett. But yes, they are doing very well, and frankly, they're doing better than I thought they would be doing.
Yeah. I was right that A&M would be instantly better with Mike Elko. I know a lot of people are like, no, I've watched all of their games to know that they're good enough to do it. Like the frustrating thing for A&M fans was watching a game and going, why do they suck this bad? Like
Bad coaching.
Do you see the guy, do you not see this wide receiver running past that defensive back, or this block just going Chase Basantis just knocking a guy ass over tea kettle, and you're like, well, how did they? Oh, well, that's because the coaching wasn't good.
And a 20-year-old offensive scheme.
Yes. Yes, at least.
At least.
At least. One that they had. Yeah.
I felt like 20 was a safe number there.
Oh, hey, we can't get to A&M's game film. Oh, just go to LSU 2008.
Damn.
We'll just color correct it. Like the same thing. See, this is a play he's gonna call. And look, hey, he's gonna look like he's gonna run motion, but really it's just this guy standing in the wrong spot, so he's gonna scoot over 2 yards.
So yeah, thanks for that take, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would have thought that they got rid of a inept coach at this point? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He achieved great things.
Yeah.
Hadn't done any of that lately.
No.
And they brought in someone who'd achieved some good stuff at a plucky little Duke school.
Yeah. I'll also go ahead and I feel comfortable making the prediction that they will not be 8-4. Will they be 9-3? Probably. But they will not be 8-4.
I'm gonna go ahead and make the prediction right now. They're gonna beat Texas.
I hope you're right. Gosh, I hope you're right.
God, I hope I'm right.
That would be, oh my gosh, that would be so great.
Do I have any analysis to base that on? No, it's hope, dreams, and prayers.
It's pure emotion.
I just do not want to see. Don't want to see Texas fans be happy. It's I want to see A&M fans and their interactions with Texas fans after that. It's going to be so toxic. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll start rooting for both teams to lose the next year.
Yeah. Here's another thing I was right about. Carson Beck, kind of blah. He's just kind of there.
It's interesting because I don't really feel like I can push back on you too much, despite the fact that he's literally following up a guy that people said should be an insurance salesman or a mailman. Like, how can you be more blah than the blah?
Yeah.
But
kind of blah.
Kind of
he's fine. I mean, again,
he looks more dead inside.
I wouldn't say no to him on most teams, but I'm just saying that the number one quarterback going into the year, I never felt it. I know that he closed strong, but also that team last year had, again, 10 first-round draft picks on it, and, yeah, they're going to close strong.
Yeah.
They were. So I feel I don't know if I talked up Notre Dame enough, but I feel like I was kind of right about them. I mean, they lost that one to Northern Illinois, but, I mean, their offense is a lot better. They can score. I can't wait to watch them play Navy this week. Honestly, I think that's going to be a fun game.
Who have they played? Who have they beat?
I mean, they beat Purdue. They beat A&M.
So they beat one of the worst Power 2 schools.
They beat Louisville.
A&M
They
and
beat
Louisville.
Georgia Tech.
You were the one who was saying Louisville's.
I mean, look, yes, Louisville, and I'll use the national logic on Louisville. They were 15 when they beat them. Yeah,
And A&M was, and I think you'd agree with me, still getting used to who they were trying to become at that point. Like, I think those two teams play again. I think A&M wins 7 out of 10 times.
yeah.
So, suffice to say, Notre Dame has not impressed me. Like, yeah, cool. You're beating up bad teams.
Now, look,
that's what good teams should do.
but
Prove you're that, top-level playoff good.
You know what's funny is that I bet you their fans thought, the hard games are going to be behind us November 9th after Florida State. That's not true. Except for, and then USC wins the first one. Like, oh, man, that one at the end of the year is going to be for a spot in the playoff. Well, it can only be for a spot in the playoff for you, Notre Dame, because now USC's out, but the playoff spot that you might be knocking teams out of are Navy and Army.
Yeah.
Or both of them might knock you out.
Army,
Those are their two best games for the rest of the
year. I
year.
wouldn't be surprised if USC also puts a scare into Notre Dame at least. Like, I am concerned they could end up with 4 losses. They really, truly could. I do not know. They have not proved to me that they are a playoff team yet.
Yeah.
And it's just a part of what they are, being independent, making their own schedule, having to deal with, well, this team is supposed to be good, but they're not. And I feel like that's actually something they've run into a lot over the last decade of this team was supposed to be good, and they're not.
Yeah.
So how can we prove it?
Yeah. No, absolutely. So trying to think of other things I might have been right about.
I know it's a short list.
I still think Ohio State has the best roster. But we did talk about how Will Howard was, I think, and I still think this, I think Will Howard can be the Ken Dorsey of that team where you don't have to be all that great, Will. Just, again, when you're in that moment, like he was against Oregon, don't do a dumb thing. Like, that was the bet. Like, Ken Dorsey's an NFL coach now, and the reason I think he got that job so fast after he was in the NFL is, you couldn't write home about his arm strength or his athleticism or whatever. But I can tell you what, Ken Dorsey didn't do dumb things. Like, he just didn't do it. Like, he never put his team in a position to lose. And, look, he was the quarterback on 0-1 Miami. By far the least talented guy. And I'm not even knocking his talent. I'm just saying that, like,
on one of the greatest teams possibly ever.
He was the Hawkeye of that Avengers, where, like, yeah, you want to have a Hawkeye, but if Hawkeye wasn't there, would you notice?
You need to have the parent drive the car to get the kids to all the events.
Yes, that's what Hawkeye does. Like, hey, I've been running around shooting arrows at these things. These are the things I've learned. All right, Hulk, go smash things.
I love Hawkeye.
Yeah, I love Hawkeye,
too. I need
to
rewatch that show.
I love Hawkeye, too. It's just when you're in the room with Captain America, Iron Man, and the Hulk, and Thor, I mean,
your cool factor goes down a good bit.
What do you do? I'm really good at shooting arrows, and I'm pretty good in a fist fight. You're like, all right, well, you can handle those things. The giant ship.
You're just like a really talented human.
Yeah, exactly. Jeremy Renner did the sketch when he was on SNL, and it's like, how many arrows do you have? 9. But what happens when you run out? Oh, I just got to go get them. Like, shouldn't you have more than 9? It's like, no, it's all it fits in the in the quiver. Was the joke.
Was there anything ACC politics related?
I don't know. Nothing's really happened yet.
Did you get that right?
No. I will stand by, like, my prediction is that they find a way to come back together and shorten the grant of rights. I think that's what's going to happen so that they can renegotiate the TV deal in a reasonable amount of time. Like, to get another look in, to do this, to get Florida State, Clemson, and whoever else, like, goes, pops their head out of the sand.
Yeah, I want to be selfish, too.
Yeah. Look, if Miami wins the national title this year, like, let's just say, like, if Miami wins, you don't think that they're not going to be like, hey, we're back. There's 2 documentaries about us, bitches. Like, what are you? We've laid dormant.
You owe me my money.
Exactly. So right now, Miami knows who they are. But like there is that like I know that feeling of the Rock went here, son. Like that's gonna pop back in.
Third leg Greg went here, son.
Yes. Yes.
Best part of the entire document, both documentaries. That's the best part to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Big Dirty Greg.
I love Greg Olson.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't play that up enough because, kids.
Yeah, it has to be family friendly.
Yeah, and he guess he's married now, so. But yeah, no, I like those things. I think will happen. I don't know what else I would have really been right about, other than
Who are your picks to make the playoff?
my picks to make the playoff right now. Oregon's
no,
gonna
at the start of the year.
at the start of the
Were
year.
you right?
Well, I thought. I was wrong about FSU. I thought they would be at least 12th.
Did you think Oregon was going to be in
Yes.
play for the conference championship?
Oh
game?
yeah. I
Okay.
did. Dan Lanning's too good. He's too good. And plus, like
I was definitely wrong about
I
how
have-
far Michigan's fallen.
I have less respect for that conference than I do most. I mean, they do things the right way and well and all that, but it's Ohio State and everybody else until last year the last couple of years with Michigan. So like it's been, if you want to talk about a one-team league, like them adding these other teams that can push Ohio State is a good thing because no one else consistently has through the last 3 Ohio State coaches. So not through Tressel, not through Meyer, not through Ryan Day. Like I know Luke Fickell was interim in there for a year, but not through that has anybody.
It took Harbaugh's Michigan.
It took Harbaugh's Michigan to push Ryan Day, and yeah, Harbaugh knows more about football right now in this moment than Ryan Day does. Okay, That's not going to last
he's
forever.
gone now.
Yeah, but he's gone now, and so somebody else needs to be in the way, and that to me is.
I pray to God it's Oregon.
At Oregon consistently because they have Dan Lanning.
Because Franklin and Penn State just seem like they can't figure it out.
Well, I mean, they have, he's had multiple shots.
Like, the 12-team playoff is the final shot I think he gets of, hey, can making the playoff consistently bring us enough juice to get over that hump to conference championships?
You know what I think the 12-team playoff will help with people like James Franklin is when it comes down to it, if James Franklin is recruiting the same wide receiver or quarterback.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
It's Ohio State, yeah. And
we get into the tournament, we have a shot.
Yeah.
All we have to do is put it together in that shot, and we always get that shot.
You're we need you to help us beat them. When you're even the one year you did beat them, you still lost those other 2 games, and they went to the playoff and you didn't. So I'm just going to go there because I know that even though they might lose to you once every 8-9 years, that's probably their one loss, and I'm fine with that.
We're on the same page here.
You're gonna turn around and lose 2 or 3 more after that because you're like, we did it, and then you lose.
Oh, what's up, Illinois? Oh,
yeah, exactly. Iowa holds you to 7 points, and you lose 9-7, and you're like, well, so much for that playoff run. Now I think that teams like that will be able to say that. I think Ole Miss was banking on it for this year, and. I don't know if I made a hardcore prediction on Ole Miss, but I did my thing was if not now, when? And I think a lot of people are going to be asking Ole Miss does not have a legacy. Part of them losing to LSU, I think, is LSU had a little bit of legacy juice on that, where you're in Death Valley at night, you have these big moments.
We're LSU, you're not.
Yeah. You're sitting on the sideline during a commercial break, right, while the Red Hat's out there. And you look up on the board, and they're showing Joe Burrow highlights and, national championships and stuff. The same thing at Ole Miss is look, there's Archie Manning from 1969. Not the same thing. Maybe he was after the 60s. But you know what I'm saying? The video is black and white and grainy. It's not in 4K.
It's Archie Manning, Eli Manning, and Michael Orr.
And a few clips from The Blind Side. I don't know.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Which, frankly, I don't think people are really trying to play much anymore.
Yeah. Deuce McAllister was good.
Yeah, he was fun.
They've had some good players, but they haven't had a lot of great teams. So those things are the legacy wins that teams like LSU get. Ole Miss has no mystique.
No.
Alabama mystiqued their way to that South Carolina win. I can guarantee you that. So they mystique their way to things.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
All right.